Toy Fair, you never know who you're going to bump into, and sometimes it's an old friend. Now, Denuo Novo isn't here this weekend, but Rubies is here this weekend, as well as our good friend Mark. So, Mark, what's going on with Denuo Novo?
Yeah, there's a lot happening right now. So I'm here at Toy Fair, as you mentioned, booth 1803 at the Javits Center, talking about all of our Halloween costumes for Rubies. And as you know, Denuo Novo, our high-end Star Wars helmets, costumes, etc. We're all part of NECA and the family of NECA companies. We don't have anything on display here, but I'm happy to talk to you guys about what's coming up new for 2025.
I like new.
Yeah. We had a night. We had such a run, right? We launched in 21, and we launched a ton of stuff in 21 and 22 and into 23, catching up on the old Denovos back order. And then in 24, we had a much lighter year. The catalog currently on the website is over 70 items. No one needs that many items in a high-end catalog, but we were making sure that we made everything available from what people had pre-ordered back in like 2016, 2017, etc.
Makes sense.
So we then decided to scale back and really launch the last of the pre-orders. So the Death Trooper came out last year, the Death Trooper Specialist, and then we brought out the concept version in white. All my Sabine helmets are out. So we've got Season 2, Season 4, and then the series finale. And now we're getting ready to bring out some truly new items for 2025. First up, and these are repaints, so just to start 2025, we are still in the repaint zone where our Imperial Royal Guard helmet, which has been sold out for a little while, you know, the tall red one from Return of the Jedi, he's back. So he's back on pre-order.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you're going to bring a helmet back, that's a good one to bring back.
Yeah. People love that one. I would say it is technically wearable, but you got to have a tiny, tiny head to fit in there. It's more of a display piece. But there are other versions of that guard that's out there, the blue and the black. So the blue is the Senate Guard helmet. So we're bringing in the Senate Guard. And then we're doing the black Shadow Guard from Force Unleashed. So, which is very exciting. So we'll have 3 versions of that helmet available, which I think would make a great display of red, blue, black in your collection. Those will be hitting pre-order very soon, the blue and the black. Before Celebration, which is now TikTok 2 months away, we will likely have our Captain Enoch helmet going up for pre-order as well, which I'm very excited about. I loved Ahsoka Season 1. I looked at that show and thought what from there would make sense to add to the Denuo line. Enoch is a very intricate helmet. It's got a lot of cracks. It's got a lot of gold flaking. It's got a weird look to it. He looked really different. You know, there's plenty of zombie stormtroopers. You can buy a stormtrooper and zombify it yourself. Enoch seems like the right guy to go after. It was kind of like a breakout in the show. So we're adding him to the lineup. Coming later in the year, you're going to see another wearable piece from us. We haven't done a ton of costumes for a while, but we're finally getting the Narkina 5 prisoner jumpsuit up and running.
Yes.
So excited about this. So One Way Out.
One Way Out.
One Way Out.
One Way Out.
Were you there in London when they were running up and down the escalators?
No, but I got to see the video footage of it.
Yeah. One, wear shoes, people, and socks. I can't, but everyone in there was wearing a DIY version of that, which was very cool. We will have an officially licensed version. The best part is we were able to send over one of our designers to Lucasfilm to get our hands on the actual prop. I know people talk about with helmets in particular, what's the lineage of the helmet. We had a screen-used piece of, not a piece, but the actual costume. I don't think it was the one that Diego wore, but it was one that someone wore on set to get measurements and understand the material and get the color swatches just correct. We've been working on that for a while. That piece will go on pre-order later this year. So unfortunately, we won't have it for Celebration this year, but certainly for Celebration, which it's going to be 27 for the 50th anniversary, we'll have something out before then for the Narkina 5 jumpsuit. And then we have one other helmet coming out later this year. We're finally getting back to a Darth Vader. It's been a long time since
Vader's
there's been a new...
Good.
Yeah, right, and he's the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Everyone knows him. Even if you don't know Star Wars, you know Darth Vader. There hasn't been a new Vader high-end helmet in quite some time. We're looking at probably a $9.99 price point, because he's big. He's a big boy. 2 pieces, of course. Probably New Hope from the design element. We're definitely going OT on this one, but we're looking at which one makes the most sense.
Sure.
Because plenty of people have done Vader helmets, so we want to make sure ours is the best possible.
And stands out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And right now, if you visit DenuoNovo.com, you will see there's some weird stuff on there, like the things from the pre-orders from the new trilogy, a couple of solo items, a couple of Rogue One items, but like there isn't a Vader helmet. I have one helmet for Luke. Some of the main characters don't have costumes or helmets, so we wanted to get back to like who really represents the franchise, and then also who's like the future of the franchise. So we'll see what happens with Mando and the new Mando movie coming in 26, if there's anything new from that. Next year, but right now it's like we've got to get a Vader in there. We've got to get this Narkina 5 jumpsuit, especially with Andor coming back.
Season 2 is looking really, really good.
Yeah, I'm excited. That trailer I thought really hit.
Oh yeah. I'm glad they went ahead and just ripped the Band-Aid off and showed us Krennic and K2, because those were the two characters on everybody's mind, I think, the most in Season 1 that didn't make an appearance. I mean, K2 kind of, because there was a KX droid, but those two characters in particular are, I know, very, very exciting and sought after.
Oh yeah.
Are very exciting and characters that people are looking forward to seeing. And I believe y'all also have done a Krennic in your line.
Oh yes, and we still have Krennic in stock on the website. So we've got an Admiral tunic in that beautiful off-white. The cape is a separate piece, so you can connect it to the tunic. It's got little butterfly clips, so you could just be an Admiral or a Grand Admiral with or without the cape. We've got the belt, we've got the hat, the different badges. We have 3 different badges on the website, so you can be a Moff, a Grand Moff, or an Admiral, a Grand Admiral, or a Grand Moff.
Okay.
So our Imperial officer lineup is the black, the olive gray, and then of course the off-white for the Admiral. I'm also looking at maybe doing the ISB officer that we saw in Andor Season 1, that weird blue color, right?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more of those onto the site. It really comes down to where we can do our manufacturing.
You might want to consider doing red as well, because there's a character in A New Hope, Mosef Benid, who has basically a red version of an Imperial uniform, and he's one of Jabba's guys. But then there's also what's currently Legends characters. There's the Admiral Ysane Izar, and she had a red Imperial uniform as well. Now the pants were black.
Yeah.
But the top was red.
And if we could use the same patterns, or similar like with a helmet with molds, and do it as a repaint, that's fantastic. We're also looking into, I know a lot of women have asked us this too, can we do a women's cut on the Imperial officer uniforms?
That'd be cool.
We're looking into it. Our big struggle is like production runs and timing. We produce overseas, these very high-end garments. They take a long time. As you've seen on our website, our pre-orders usually go 6 to 9 months out from delivery. And we try to line it up that once we have our approved factory sample is when we put up our pre-order. So that's why the Enoch helmet is not on pre-order yet, even though we are very close. Like, we have our first factory sample, we've got all of our turns approved, Lucasfilm has seen it, it looks really good. We're just like making sure we have our delivery window sorted and everything.
Beautiful. And since we've been talking about repaints and variants and things too, another one that just popped up to mind, since y'all are on the vein of Emperor's Royal Guard helmets, there's 2 main character Royal Guards from Legends, at least, Carnor Jackson, Kirkanos, that one is a red guard helmet with some black highlights. The other one is a black guard helmet with some red highlights.
Oh, there you go.
And again, the same molds of ones you're already producing, now in other colors as well. And especially excited to see that y'all are dipping into Legends by doing these 2 characters from The Force Unleashed, the Imperial Senate Guard and the Emperor's Shadow Guard. Make sure that you look out for those very soon. What's your question in regards to that?
Got a brand new outfit that could be done with a new helmet.
Oh, sure.
The Sinar test pilot that just got revealed.
Yeah.
Oh, how exciting. Yeah. There's so many different slices to Star Wars, and there's almost like too many characters to count. And certainly on the Legend side, we're actually getting like sort of special permission to do this one helmet, Force Unleashed. And I don't even think we'll brand it that. It'll probably just be branded Star Wars on our website. But, you know, because it does share the mold and everything.
Yeah.
The tricky thing about our category is that, you know, we're not a Funko Pop or an action figure where you're going to have a line plan that's super deep and includes every single character. You really have to have, like, a love of this item to spend $500, $600, $700 on the particular helmet or costume. So we're catering to like a sliver of the fandom, which we appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for coming to visit us and being super fans. I know I'm one myself, so I understand like how passionate people are for Star Wars. It's not lost on me that the products that I'm selling are in like the sort of luxury space, right? Our helmets go from $500, $600, $700. We have some things on the website that are a little bit cheaper. You know, our belts and our shirts and things like that are a little more affordable. But I know that we're in a high-end space. But I appreciate everyone who's coming to the website and checking us out and staying with us, especially as we were fulfilling the back order on Novos and now getting into our own new products.
Which there's been many.
Yeah, we've had quite a number so far, and more will be coming, especially now that we have a movie coming out in 2026.
Yes, finally,
Yeah.
Another movie. We've waited
been a
so
minute.
long for another movie. Not that I
Yeah.
don't love the shows on Disney Plus, but I also want movies.
Yeah.
I want both.
Well, it's so funny because I started with Topps in late 2014, and 2014, and we were building to the first movie, and there were 5 in a row, right? We had Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo, Rise of Skywalker, and I was there for all of that. So every year I was there, we had a movie, and there was something gigantic to plan against. And then we had Mandalorian, which felt like really like a moment, right, when it hit on streaming.
Yeah.
And now we're waiting until the next movie comes out. There are other shows and everything, which is exciting, but we haven't really developed a ton of product for. But I'm so ready to be in a movie theater to experience Mando and Grogu with all the other fans. It's a different type of experience, very communal. Last night on the Academy Awards, the guy who won Best Director, Sean Baker, he won for Anora. He was sort of begging people to go back to theaters. That was like the crux of his entire speech where he won Best Director. It was like, we make these movies for theatrical release. Please go support your theaters.
Yes.
And I feel that, especially as someone who's very, like, I'm a big pop culture junkie. Like, I will sit at home and watch YouTube and TV and everything, and it's very easy to just do that, but like, you got to get out there and go to the movie theaters as well.
Right. Especially if it's a movie I'm excited about, my preferential way to view it is at the movie theater. And I don't know, there's just something about seeing, especially Star Wars, on the big screen that it's not comparable to any other viewing experience.
Yeah, it's supposed to feel special. I know people talk about Star Wars being special.
Oh, yes.
And now as the 50th anniversary approaches,
yes.
I think we're going to get back to that territory where, people were figuring out what does streaming mean, right? And we've sort of transformed TV and movies into content, which I sort of hate that word. But I understand that it's sort of all-encompassing of TV, movies, YouTube shows, video games, etc. I think Star Wars is at its best when it's theatrical and when there's like a TV show, not just content. And I think we're getting to that, which is exciting. So yeah, hopefully there'll be some news around Mando Grogu movie for Denuo Novo. I have nothing to tell you yet. Nor could I. There's probably like embargo dates for all that kind of stuff. But this year, we're very focused on Celebration and the new items. We actually won't be at Celebration, just full transparency. But like, we're going to have some marketing around that. There might be something happening on our website at that time, like we usually do with all of the various conventions. So yeah, Denuo Novo won't be going to Japan like many of the other licensees, but we will have something special happening on our website, and there'll be some product news before then.
Well, make sure you're checking rebelscum.com and following us anywhere on social media you can for when that news breaks out, because we'll be covering it here. Mark, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for taking the time to share with us some of the things that are going on at Denuo Novo, even though Denuo Novo didn't come to New York Toy Fair 2025. Make sure you're following Denuo Novo anywhere you can as well, aside from us if you're not getting your news on Denuo Novo through us. That way, well, you can still get that news because, as you heard today, there's some pretty awesome helmets coming out soon, as well as a really awesome full costume, the Narkina 5 full suit. Now, it's going to be a top piece and a bottom piece, so it will be 2 separate pieces, but we are getting the full thing, and that's something to get very excited about, at least in my opinion. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you another time, and may the Force be with all of you, you Rebel Scum.